tier 1 race last time and we was like flipping over.
Then again,
Might have been like just because of Palmer. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's just like Alexander was saying something, he just tried to keep speaking it.
Yeah. Alright, it's an enjoy.
Hello, hello. We are live, are we? Hello, hello. We are live, are we? Hello, hello. We are live, are we? Could hear myself about 10 times over. But we're here for the Tier 2 Belgium Grand Prix. And we're heading to qualifying now. I'm with Jolly and Al Gamdi. Al Gamdi being the newest of the commentators here at Amethyst Racing. I'm hearing myself like 3 times over. I don't know why. There we go. Jolly, you here?
Hello, I am.
Here it is. Yeah, quiet then. But yeah, we're going to be heading into the 18-minute qualifying session. We've got a few new drivers in there. I think mainly reserves as well. By the looks of it. But yeah, a few that are in the championship fight actually as well. I'm going to make a prediction for people to guess who's going to grab pole. But yeah, take us away, John. Will Lightning.
He's out first and he's got to get his laps in. He's out first. He's let Alex Day pass him, heading to Lake Hall. A lot of drivers out of the pits at the moment.
But yeah, 16 drivers here today. It's quite a big pack of drivers to have. I think we only had 14 or 15 in the Tier 1 race. So a good turnout.
Look at the queue. We're only a minute in.
Yeah, I will have to be leaving just after qualifying. So luckily, you've got Jolly and Al Gamdi to keep you company. I think Al Gamdi's just nipped off to do something, but he'll be back shortly. Who else should we add to the prediction list? I've got Raccoon, King, Cop, Day, and Lightning. Should we add everyone? Or I think that's a bit too much.
Could go anyway at Spa, you know.
Yeah.
Rain and sunshine.
As I know very well.
So looks like there'll be a queue on the way into the bus stop as well. Looks like there'll be 10 or so drivers in a queue with each other. They'll try and gather some space for their laps, but Alex Day is going to be the first to start.
No bias here.
No bias at all. It's the McLaren TP as he starts his lap.
I'll quickly go through the championship standings. We've actually got an empty Red Bull seat that is being... Actually, no, it's not being sat in by Xenius, I don't think. I'd have to check. I think Xenius is covering for Kister. I think. I'm not too sure on that one, actually. But there is an empty Red Bull seat as the Red Bull drivers move to Tier 1. James Maples, that was. Who's on 50 points, currently leading the championship. Closely followed by Jack King on 46 points.
Maples no longer
And
leads.
Santiago. Pardon?
Maples no longer leads. He's been.
Oh yeah, no, the empty seat at the Red Bull that he used to have still at the top of the standings there.
Did Xenius take his place?
I'm not too sure if he's taking his place or Kister's spot. To me, it'd make sense if he took the Red Bull driver's seat, the empty seat.
He has, yeah.
Okay, good. So
He has.
yeah, Xenius racing for the champion. Is he a full-time driver now?
He is, I believe so.
Okay, so he's going to be at the top of the Drivers' Championship in his first race. Alex Day setting a purple sector 2 there though. Coming round into the bus stop. Well, this is actually Blanchimont, and then into the bus stop chicane to complete his lap. The first lap is going to be on the board today. Is it going to be good? He goes a bit deep into the bus stop chicane though. And loses the back end on exit. That is probably the most frustrating corner to spin on because it's the last one.
He doesn't want to keep moving backwards if he gets disqualified here.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's been disqualified. That's not going to be a happy day. Joe's Raccoon on to provisional pole at the moment though.
Oh, there's another spinner.
Is that Will
Lightning? Yep.
It is.
He's moving as well, otherwise he might be disqualified.
Alpine.
There's another spinner, a Mercedes of Amethyst that spun round and actually broke one of his wheels.
done it at the bus stop chicane. That's not really good for any of them.
And there's another crash as well at the first corner, I think. I know, it's Raccoon going a bit wide, I think. Oh no, sorry, Cop going a bit wide at turn 1.
Seems to be. Dive out of the way of Will Lightning, who's gone again. No.
Yeah, I think he's going to have backed out after that spin he had on the straight.
Sander still has lost it at Laycom. Nasty curve.
A lot of people struggling with traction today by let's do it now.
Seems to slow that. What's happened to Sam Palmer? Letting Xenius go past. Xenius is the only driver out of the mediums.
Yeah, so Xenius can make this strategy work. I think
There's
the medium to
Aston
stop
Martin spinner.
Oh yeah, Raccoon spun it at, I think that's turn... I'm not too sure. But yeah, just entering the final sector. He's picked up the rear a bit too much, I think.
Xenius meanwhile on the medium set, sector 1. So making it work.
Could be one to watch, yeah.
Doesn't look up through Bruchel. Nicely through no name.
Isn't this called Puon?
This is Puon, yeah.
Yeah.
This is limited coinage.
I think that's what Amber Heard did onto Johnny Depp's bed, right?
She did. Happily so, it seems as well.
I've just realised, did he set a purple sector 1, did you say?
He did set up sector 1.
He's going to run out of fuel though, so I think he's going to have to come in.
That's unfortunate, unless he decides to go. It'd be
Risk
risky
it.
for him.
Yeah.
If he cuts as many corners as possible safely, might be able to just make it back.
Let's see if he does commit or not.
He
He does commit.
That's an odd one.
He does commit.
But he sticks it on
P2. The front row. And we missed there. Jack King actually setting a 143.7. Sticking himself onto provisional pole. I'm going to add Sand Steel to the drivers.
Patrick Kiziel next across the line. He's 7 at 144.2. That's Sam Palmer lining up. He was on a very slow lap, but he's going to line himself up to go now. There's not many drivers on that. So we're right on board with him for this lap.
Okay, so I'm going to put the top 5 drivers into a prediction, and then people will be able to predict who they think is going to be on pole.
Sam Palmer was nicely through turn 1, nicely up Rouge. He's going to get a nice slipstream from his teammate as well. Might dart out of the way at the end of the straight. He does. Some team tactics coming into play from Alpine, but he takes too much curve at Laycom, and that's going to ruin his entire lap. That's unfortunate. Torgier Smith about to begin his lap. Sebastian Zerveld is beginning his lap as well. Will Lightning is on a lap, but it's not done too well through the bus stop chicane, and he's going to come across and it's going to be a 144.4, which will put him into P8 still.
Yeah, he's going to be short on fuel as well though to finish his in-lap. Did Xenius make it back round yet?
Xenius.
No, he's going through the bus stop chicane now. He's actually made it.
He's trundling through now. Managed to make it. Nearly
Jack
takes
King back on another outlap on a fresh pair of softs. So he'll be looking to extend his lead a little bit. Currently over a tenth, I think, between him and Xenius.
Patrick Kiziel is heading into the pit lane. The two Alpines riding right next to each other. Sam Palmer making a dive down his teammate is only qualifying. But it seems like Martin is going to begin his lap and has spun out of the bus stop chicane. That's unfortunate. It looks to be Simon Sandersteel coming through to begin his lap now. Has Joe's Raccoon in close tail.
So in the final 5 minutes of qualifying, there's going to be a prediction coming up where people will be able to vote on who they think is going to grab pole today, and you'll win, I believe, channel points if you get it right.
We'll do a lap on board with Santa Steel. I believe he's quite far up in the championship, isn't he?
Yeah, he's currently sitting P3 in the championship with 40 points, so only 10 behind the leader.
Regular podium appearer.
Yep, I think he's had 2 podiums so far this season out of the 5 races or 4 races he's been in.
But he sets purple sector 1. A bit wide through Bruxelles.
Sorry, no, he's had one win back in Bahrain, and then 8th, 5th, and a DNF in Austria. So yeah,
Be hoping to
we're
turn
looking
that
to
around.
bounce back. Yeah.
He's on for a good lap so far. A few small mistakes, but that won't cost him a massive amount of time. A bit hesitant, but he goes purple sector 2 as well. Joe's Raccoon behind him, likely getting a slipstream down to the bus stop chicane. That's going to assist him. Not what Santa Steel will be looking for.
I wonder if Xenius will come back out. He might just stay in the pits for the rest of the session after setting that good time on the mediums. As the Santa Steel crosses the line, takes provisional pole, and now Raccoon follows him cross and moves up to P3, so that's Xenius down to P4 and just 2 people crossing the line. And I don't think Jack King went back out on those fresh softs, or he didn't set a representable lap time, as he hasn't improved.
Martin Noble has invalidated. That's unfortunate for him. Alfa Romeo want to get some points, bigger points on the boards. Who else have we got on that? The 2 Alpha Tauris haven't actually set laps yet.
Yep. Patrick Kiziel has just headed out for an outlap as well, currently sitting in P7. Just about to come through the bus stop chicane to set a new lap. Number 62, the Haas driver.
I believe we have Luke Martin on that, going through no name there. Very on the limit.
To Rambo Herd's favourite corner.
Might see a few spinners on there. A bit slippery.
Okay, so the poll prediction will be going up now. It's going to involve everybody in the top 5, and then you can comment, or there'll be a vote for other, who's outside the top 5.
Luke Martin currently in P12 has gone purple through sector 2, so he's on the limit. Will he topple Santa Steel's time of 1:43? It's looking like it'll be close, but it's not going to be enough. He does 45.1. That's just going to move him up 1 place, unfortunately.
So the only driver in the top 6 right now, out on track, is Jack King. Coming across the line now to start a new flying lap.
Sebastian
We'll be looking to grab
Zervelt.
that position.
Sebastian Zervelt has decided to try the mediums as well as Xenius, and he's about to, and he decides to bail out of that.
Yeah, it looks like he validated his lap.
It's Patrick Kiziel finishing his lap now. How's it looking for him? Gets a snap through the bus stop chicane, but he's going to come across and it's going to be a 43.6, which puts him into P2. A couple hundredths ahead of Cop in the Aston Martin sitting in P3.
Jack King has just validated coming through turn 5 on the brand new pair of softs, so he's going to have to go back round. I don't think he's not going to have enough fuel to go for another push lap either, so he's going to have to come in and try for one more at the end.
It's looking a bit tight on time though, it's a long track. So
yeah.
Out that, it's going to be tight, especially the Delta getting in and out of the pit lane. Well, Lightning is setting up for a lap. We can watch on board with him. Goes neatly through the bus stop, takes the wide line to get as much space as possible. drive towards the start finish. Nicely through turn 1. Oh, and he's spun it on the exit. That's unfortunate. And he's hit an Aston Martin coming out of the pit lane. That's going to do no one's session well. And Cop has been disqualified for that. I imagine that was blocking the pit lane. And Will Lightning has been given a 5-place grid penalty. That is unfair. Both drivers are not going to do any help. No more time left in the session.
I'm not sure. We'll have to quickly review that incident because we're going to be restarting the lobby anyway to apply the actual grid penalties. So Will Anthony might get away with that if it wasn't his fault.
Jack King making his way into the pits, but I don't think there is enough time to start a lap.
He'll be cutting it close. If he cuts a few corners, he might just get around in time. But you have to be quick in and out here. If we can get out.
Xenius is once again on mediums, so he's really committed to the ultimate strategy here. Which is usually soft to medium would be the fastest lap, fastest strategy. But he goes for it. He's got Torgier, he's got Hugo Magnussen beginning a lap behind him as well. Right on board with Magnussen, he's been fast and just about catches it out of that final corner. But it doesn't look like he's going to have enough time to go again. 1 minute 21. And have to cut a few corners to make it.
As Melicherik's about to come and complete his first lap in qualifying. Going through the bus stop chicane now. Going up to the line, it's going to be a 1:43.8, which puts him P5 for his first lap. And also his teammate Magnussen is out on a lap as well. And going through the horrible roundabout corner, as I like to call it. He actually validates there, he runs a little bit wide. So he's going to back out of that lap, and I don't think that he'll be able to get another lap in here.
Sorry, just trying to fix up the echo. It should hopefully disappear now. Coming across the line, sounds.
Oh, Xenius has spun it, coming out of the tricky Estes section.
He doesn't want to block anyone on lap. He's got to be careful. He's got Santa still coming through on lap. And AlphaTauri coming through behind. I want to dive out of the way quickly.
That is going to be devastating for Xenius. He's had 4,330 channel points put into his pole position, and he spun it. That's going to be him
Sam
done
Palmer,
for qualifying.
He's retired as well, whether that's him deciding to do so himself.
Lightning this one at turn 4.
And he's lost his wing.
5, I remember. Raccoon's about to come and complete a lap, going through the bus stop chicane now. Up to the line. It's going to be a 1:43.4. It's going to put in P2. So that kicks Jack King out of the top 3 positions. And put in Sandsteel on pole position as well.
The Ferrari and Aston Martin fight continues in Tier 2. Patrick Kiziel in P3 still, but he is in the pit lane, so that's his qualifying over. Jack King.
Lopez on a good lap here as well.
Jack King did manage to get out of the pit lane and is on that.
Oh, and Lopez has spun it in the final sector.
It's a shame coming through the house corner.
Horrible corner if you catch that outside curb. That is going to be it for qualifying. So Xenius really dropped down there. He needed to get out of a lap in. Yeah, just couldn't quite manage it. Oh.
And across the line, that is qualifying over. So we will have a review of the final lineup. So Simon Sanders still maintained pole with a 1:43.257. Joe's Raccoon closely behind with a 1:43.4. Followed by Sebastian Zerveld, Patrick Kiziel. Zerveld managed to get into P3, so that's a 3-4 for Haas. Their TP is going to be very happy along with the 2 drivers. Jack King in P5 for McLaren. Melicherik in P6. Xenius in 7th. Lopez in 8th. Will Lightning managed to get into 9th with Martin Noble in 10th. The 2 Alpines in 11th and 12th, followed by Hugo Magnussen in 13th. Hannestead in 14th. Kopp in 15th, and Epic Lexer, who was disqualified at the beginning of the session, not getting a lap in.
Okay, so I think we have a few grid penalties to put in place as well. I can see there's two drivers that aren't here. Oh, actually, or is that three? I think there's three drivers that aren't here today that were meant to be serving a grid place penalty. We got Sandsteel, who's on pole position actually. He'll be starting 2 places lower down. Torgeir Smith, who isn't here, I don't think actually. But he has a 5th place for the next race. Hugo Magnussen, he will be starting 5 places lower as well.
Hey, Connor.
Lopez, 2 places. Oh, hello.
Sorry for interrupting you, but so obviously there's gonna be some people with some penalties. So what's gonna happen with the people who are qualified outside the top 10 but are gonna be bumped down due to the penalties? So they're gonna have to start on softs, aren't they?
Yeah, so if you're in the top 10 and you get a penalty that puts you outside the top 10, you use whatever tyre you qualified on.
What about people qualified outside the top 10 but then get boosted down into the top 10 because of grid places?
Yeah, that's fine. They can start on whatever tyre they would like.
All right.
Haas are looking good though, with Santa Still's 2 place. I believe that puts one of the Hasses into P2.
Yeah.
I think that's
So it'll be
Zerveld.
P2 and P4, I think, on the grid.
Yes. So sure their TP will be very happy with that one.
Absolutely. So we are just creating the next lobby so we can go and apply the grid penalties that need to be applied. But yeah, as it stands, I think it will be a Haas 2-4, and it will be.
Joe's Raccoon, is it on pole?
I think it is. Has someone made
Yeah, it will be.
race results? Yeah, so Raccoon on pole, with Zerveld just behind him. I think this will be Zerveld's first front row as well, at least this season. And then Sandsteel down in P3, the champion. Oh no, so he'll be starting where he is in the championship. In third, Kizio 4th, King 5th, Melicherik. Don't believe he has a penalty. So he'll be starting 6th. Zenus on the alternate strategy in 7th. Lopez, who I do think has a penalty. He has. Yeah, he has a 2-place grid drop, so I think he'll be starting P10. If I did think he was P8, is he P8? Yeah, so he'll be starting P10, which boosts actually both the Alfa Romeo drivers up a position. Lightning and Noble will be starting P8 and 9. So if they can get double points today, I'm sure they'll be happy with that. But yeah, Belgium's always a tough race to deal with. And the prediction will be that Sandsteel got it. But I think everyone voted for Zenas, as he had 4,300 channel points to his name. Maybe the pressure got to him.
But he is on the alternate strategy, so if he can stick with the top runners on that medium, owing to safety cars as well, it could pay off. But the weather at Spa is, as we all know, rather not fun.
Yep.
I believe we are just checking the other Aston Martin Cop's fastest lap, as he was disqualified in a rather unfair way. And I think the Aston Martin of R-Cop, will move up a fair few positions. I believe he has provided evidence that his fastest lap was a 43.6, which is going to promote him, if I can remember correctly, around P5. So I'm sure that will be beneficial for him.
Oh yeah, Zerveld actually has a 10-place penalty, I think.
He does, doesn't he, for his a couple unsafe track re-entries, so that's Haas
So he'll
in a
be
high
starting
position.
P13, I think.
Damage limitation for them at the moment to get
Yeah.
into P2.
So that's actually going to mean that Kizio will be starting P3, right? Oh no. How does that work? Wait, this is too brainy.
I believe he will remain in P4, as Sanders still only
Yeah.
has a 2-place penalty.
Yeah.
But Kizio did have pace last week in the Tier 2 race at Austria. It was an unfortunate spin, I believe, that took him out, but he was on for a podium and a potential win. Everybody ready for the Miami Grand Prix?
Oh, I'm so ready. I think there's going to be plenty of crashes and plenty of overtaking.
And plenty of Niels Vittish being a bit too greedy with that red flag button.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. But I don't know. I think it's a good track, I think, to watch. A few drivers have complained about it.
did.
I think like any new track, it's going to be quite slippy.
New track, street track, it's a
Yeah,
combination
it's
of
going to
everything.
be. Yeah, they're always quite slippy and until like they've had a few years of running on. But yeah, I think it'll be good. The three long straights, the start finish straight, and then the one in sector one, I think, and then the end sector. I think they'll definitely, as they all kind of go into hairpins, I think they'll be good for overtaking there. And then I think there'll be a few side by side moments through the Mickey Mouse bit under the bridges. So I think it'll be a good race. It'll be entertaining at least.
It will be.
And it's quite a good time round in the UK for us because it was at 8:30. I think that's quite a nice time to do it.
Yeah.
Late evening. So yeah, I think it'll be a good race.
It's
I'm
not
looking
in
forward to it.
Australia, 4 AM.
Oh no, I actually got up for that as well.
So did I. It was
The only good thing about that race was the double points for McLaren and then Albon. Somehow getting P10.
we should have a poll on how quickly signs will crash out.
Well, there's no gravel tracks for him to get stuck in.
There isn't, but I'm starting to think that Ferrari.
Bloke gifting a tier 1 sub to Wassa Phoenix. Thank you so much, Bloke. That's your 6th, I believe. So, being a massive support to us since beginning of season 2, I think, or end of season 1. No bankruptcy.
Well,
I'll be
signs.
back in just a second. 1 minute.
No worries. So, I wonder if Ferrari will have a small escape clause written into Sainz's contract while watching the past few races. Maybe Binotto forgot to sign a few last details if his performance continues. But I believe we are going to get underway with the race momentarily. So it'll be 22 laps around Spa. The weather is on dynamics, so whether it's wet and adds another level of complication into this already long track, the longest on the calendar, we'll have to wait and see. A wet Spa is always tricky.
I've got to head out as predicted.
Right.
So I wish everyone good luck in the race. I hope you have a fun race, if anything. And yeah, you two enjoy your commentary.
Thank you for hopping up.
No worries. I think Al Gamdi's still here. Yeah, he is.
Yep, I am.
Okay. Well, have fun, and I'll speak to you guys in a bit.
All right, have a good one, man.
See ya.
So we are loading into the lobby now. I shall switch our attention over here. So prediction: wet or dry?
at this point with Belgium, it's always both.
It's pot luck, isn't it?
It's all about how lucky you are. As the tier 1 race in the beginning, it was completely dry up until the last 3 laps, and that completely changed the results. As
it's dry.
the SMR of Hamadir went from P1 all the way down to P6.
An unfortunate strategy
So
call. But Mr. Legorepex has put in the chat that he predicts Aston's going to win. So we'll see if that does pan out. For the moment, it is dry on the grid. Whether that will change, we'll have another Hamadir at the end of the race and see an Aston Martin lose about 10 positions. We'll have to wait and see. If you guys want to set your predictions for winners in chat, feel free. And we'll see how they pan out towards the end of the race. But all cars are lined up on the grid. I believe we should have a formation lap. We will do. So it's a one-stop strategy around here. No one else seems to move off the grid. Patrick Kizel waited a long time to get into gear, so Jose Kuhn's going to want to wait for them around that first turn. Blorky, Kister has a feeling Red Bull's going to take it. We'll have a look. Xenius is on the alternate strategy, I believe. He will be coming from the back from P7. Patrick Kizel has decided to pick the mediums. I believe he qualified in the softs, didn't he? So if he has decided to pick the medium, and that's not what he should do, I believe that's a 20-second time penalty that he'll have on the end of his race. That's not going to do him any good. Hopefully they've all managed to remember their setups. We've had too many of the setup fumbles.
Also, the most important part of the formation lap is sometimes you could warm up a bit too much, and then you start actually like increasing your tires wounds. So that's why the formation lap is always important, to keep the temperature up, but to also keep the tire wear extremely low. So but as of right now, it seems like everyone's taking it very slow and having patience by every single time they try to re-warm up the tire walls. And it seems to be going well.
Alex Days managed to find himself at the back of the pack and is very far off. He's going to want to close off or he might receive a penalty. That's a little sneaky tire advantage he's trying to grab there. So Jose Kuhn still leads. We'll want to slow down and let Patrick Kizel catch up.
Oh, he spun.
Has he?
He spun.
Alex Day. Okay, so Kizel said it's a game glitch that he's been put on mediums. He chose soft and he has a clip. So if that is true, then I'm sure the penalty won't stand. But for now,
That is incredibly interesting. For some reason, you see 3 people with medium compounds. I only see one person, and that's Patrick Kizel.
That is
who was
odd.
on mediums.
Xenius did qualify on those mediums, and I believe Luke Martin did set a lap, or was outside the top 10, so has opted for the mediums. So outside the top 10, P11 mediums, that's probably a good place for him to be in, as long as he can avoid spinning or any carnage. So we'll ride on board with Jose Kuhn as the back of the grid forms up. Alex Day joining the back of the pack. He himself is at P15. He was our last week's winner, wasn't he? Or at least he won on track. I think penalties might have played a part into where he actually finished. Aston Martin, Ferrari, McLaren, all in the fight.
So all the drivers line up for the start of this race.
It's 5 lights. Lights out and away we go. Held for a long time. Raccoon gets a nice start. Patrick Kizel not as good, but he seems to be defending off from everyone else. Is that a Ferrari? Sander still going to have a look up the inside of Kizel, and he makes it. He makes it stick. Kizel is sent wide. Sander still got P2. Jack King up into 3rd. Joris Xenius has made up 2 places on the medium tires. Now into P5. Patrick Kizel losing 2. So Jose Kuhn leads them off the start line heading into Les Combes. Simon Sanner still having a look, but deciding to stick behind for the minute. Looks to have got tapped from the Ferrari behind, but no damage as far as we can see. Further down the order, remaining fairly still, Will Lightning having a duel with Sam Palmer and the Williams and Lopez. Further ahead, the two medium runners of Xenius and Kiziel are to...
Simon goes, he went down the inside and gained position up into P1.
Nice move from him.
And Joe's Raccoon dropping all the way down to P3. And Jack King.
That's a spinner. Hannestad in the back. That's going to damage his race. But Sanna still now pulling away, and Jack King gets past Joe's Raccoon as well, up into second. But Sanna still has a comfortable 6-10 gap now. Want to stretch that and try and get out of DRS, which is very powerful around here.
Extremely powerful on Common Street. Could completely change the result of this race. Jack
King has closed up, however, so that advantage isn't looking to stay. Joe's Raccoon gets a big snap on the exit. Sam Sanders says past to that. Nick Martin already into the pits. Did he have damage?
Wait, somebody went to the pits?
Alpine of Nick Martin. But for now, Simon Sanderson's really taking that gap. Patrick Kinsey already with a 3-second time penalty. Jack King following Sanderstill round. Sanderstill losing a lot of his gap that he builds up on the straight. We have a yellow flag, and is that a... It's an Alfa Romeo of Martin Noble, who seems to have gone for a spin. Joe's Raccoon has dropped off the back of that front two. So I'm sure he'll want to close up that gap, otherwise he's under threat from Joris Seniors, who has a look down the inside of Pilwan. Joe's Raccoon one's wide, and that lets Seniors have a go, and he gets through on him. So he's found pace on that medium tyre. Joe's Raccoon is struggling up here.
Also, it appears Simon Sanderstill is currently trying to build up a comfortable lead before the DRS is enabled at the start of lap 3. Because Jack King is not going to have it, and he's trying to gain on him up until DRS is enabled to retake.
Joe's Raccoon is being pushed around the circuit by Patrick Kiziel and the other Aston Martin of Kopf. Kiziel looks to have a move down the inside. It's very late and opportunistic. Doesn't manage to spin anyone round. No damage it looks like for now. But up front, Simon Sanderson now has a 1.2 second lead over Jack King. Jack King will want to get back in that 1 second gap so he can have the DRS and try and make a move on him. These two have pulled a 2 second gap to Xenius.
Jack King has used almost all of his ERS to try to stay within that 1 second gap to try to still have DRS, as P1, P2 are very far away from P3. So as of right now, Jack King is doing all he can to stay within 1 second of the current race leader, Simon.
So already the pack has spread out. Magnussen has retired. If that's a crash, we might be seeing our first safety car, and we've got a VSC. So everyone gets a chance to slow down. Joe's Raccoon has retired as well, so that's Aston Martin out. That is Mr. Hamadir's prediction sliced in half. So it's now up to the Aston Martin of our cop to do it for him. And we have a full safety car, so are we going to see anyone in the box this early, lap 3?
I don't know, it seems like a very, very bold thing to do. And I don't think it's the best strategy. But maybe somebody will be boxing, but I don't see how that would be very helpful.
Lower down the grid, Lopez is on brand new hards, so if he can stick those out to the end of the race, owing to no weather changes. Melicheric and Vajra both heading into the pits, the Williams and the AlphaTauri. The mediums won't last from here till the end though, they'll be so warm you won't be able to drive around them. But he's trying them. That's very early.
Well, it appears people are actually boxing.
Who else is in the pits? William Lightning in the pit lane. I wonder what tyre he's going to choose.
Crust seems to be boxing for another set of softs, which is really interesting.
It might play out for him though. Another safety car.
But he's still gonna have to pit another time to a different compound.
I think he'll be riding on
probably me.
Riding on the hope that another safety car, if he can make some moves on fresh softs.
I mean, if that happens, that could be the perfect strategy for Cress. To take advantage of the safety cars and the timing with him boxing for it.
So there's a bit of argy-bargy going on with the AlphaTauri Smith, who might be named wrong. I believe that is Melicheric in the AlphaTauri. But apparently they had a tap with the Aston Martin and Joe's review, so that will likely be reviewed after the race. Meanwhile, if we take a look at the running order, Simon Sanders still now leads. We'll have a look at the position change. Simon Sanders has made up 2 positions, is back into that pole position he took, so he's clearly probably the most confident driver around this track. 1.5 second gap on King. But
Jack King has done some magnificent racing since the start, because he's gained 4 positions, if I'm not mistaken, or 3.
He's gathered 3, but Xenius, on an alternate strategy, he's made up 4 from P7. So we'll see how this pans out for him, because that alternate strategy can be powerful around here. He'll have better tyres compared to those ahead of him. Those softs wear up very quickly. You can look at 4 or 5% a lap on some setups.
But some major changes on how the grid looks like.
Another couple of drivers opting to pit. That is Koch of the Aston Martin and Alex Day in the McLaren. It's not been his day. He's in P15 after being really dominant in Austria last week. Sam Palmer, actually, in P5 is up 7 positions from his start, I believe, in P10 or P11.
I think he might have started on P12.
P12 if he's up 7, yeah.
It's just an incredible change in positions.
If it was a game glitch that stuck him on those mediums, he's not been able to make the best of a bad situation and has dropped a couple of places off the start.
And it seems that hopefully the safety car will be coming in this lap.
It should do. All cars have caught up for the beginning of Sector 3, so
They've all lined up behind each other, so
in a couple of corners' time the safety car will begin to pull away.
and hopefully we'll be back to some clean racing.
And if it is, the instruction from race control should come around now. And there it is, safety car will be in this lap, so the drivers will be wanting to warm up their tyres. Especially Xenius, who's on that medium yellow walled compound. He'll be wanting to put a lot of heat to those tyres to keep up with Jack King and Sanders whose tyres won't be as bad for wear, but will be wearing very quickly.
And as of right now, it appears the top 7 are the ones that have not pitted yet.
Should we ride on board with Jack King for the restart? Very close to the back of Santa still. Santa still goes very late. The tyre status right now is looking like this. We've got mostly medium runners, sorry, in the top 10. Others, the rest are on softs. Simon Santa still has held on to the lead for now, but Joris Zenius on the medium is actually attacking Pink on the softs. So maybe those softs, he's really not looked after them well enough, and he's now on threat from the man in the Red Bull on the mediums, who in his first race for the team, I believe, is up into the podium positions and attacking for more spots. Alex Day's life isn't getting any better as he picked up a 3-second time penalty in last position, and he's lost a lot of time, maybe a spin, maybe some damage, but that's not done anything well for his race. Resting on King's shoulders at the moment, who's close up to the back of Santa still, is now 2.5 tenths off. Whether Zenius is managing to keep within his DRS, so if he can hold on there, he'll have a tyre advantage in the later laps of this stint. Jack King running wide there. There's a spinner of Luke Martin down at the back of the pack. That's going to damage his race, but if he can take a box onto an alternate strategy, he might be able to recover it. Jack King is in the sides of moving to the last corner. Yes, he is, but he's not quite close enough. Joris Zenius looking for an opportunistic move from the two. Simon Santa still gets a snap of oversteer on the exit. That's going to allow Jack King to close up right next to him. And are they going to go side by side into the first corner? No, they're not. But Joris Zenius might look to try around the outside, get a switch back on Jack King. He tries it, but he doesn't get the traction down in time on those medium tyres. Simon still holding on to the lead for now. Joris Zenius pouncing all over the back of King. Wants to get past and make up positions to get onto the back of Santa still, as I believe DRS will now be enabled. Not quite yet, but Jack King is going to have a move on Simon Santa still. Is Zenius going to try and follow him through? It looks to be that he is. Zenius going side by side with Santa still into the Belgium, decides to back out of it and save his race. But Jack King has taken the lead from Simon Santa still. Following him through No Name right now. He seems to be doing alright up there at the front. Simon Santa still already got an 8/10 gap as Lopez picks up a 3-second penalty. So Jack King had a lot of pace in him, just held up by Santa still. Sam Palmer and Badrina fighting in the background. Sam Palmer looking to have lost a position on the way into Puot. But as we continue, it seems to be Martin Noble is very close with Sebastian Zerveld and Will Lightning. However, following up at the front, Simon Santa still's getting very close to the back of Jack King. His light is flashing, that means he has no DRS left for this lap, or he's under 10%. So he's drained his DRS to try and break that DRS boundary, but it hasn't seemed to work. And Simon Santa still is actually going to decide to move into this last corner. Let's see what it looks like. He tries it, but he's got the inside line. He goes a bit onto that rumble strip where you don't want to be, and that's going to give Zenius a better run out of the bus stop chicane and allow him to attack Simon Santa still. DRS is enabled now 2 laps since the safety car went in. Joris Zenius backs out of there. He's looking for a way past all of these drivers, and he gets a switch back on Jack King beautifully, and he gets the traction down, and now he's going to have a go at Simon Santa still. Are they going to go side by side into Belgium? Sorry, Eau Rouge? No, they're not. Zenius actually takes it up the inside, and through Eau Rouge is now into the lead on the alternate strategy on those medium tyres. Jack King and Simon Santa still, however, now with DRS enabled, Jack King is going to get past Zenius. Zenius is going to have to defend for his life from Simon Santa still, who's going to take a move up the inside. They go heading 3 wide into Belgium. Still side by side, Zenius gets pushed off the track. That might be a track limit warning, but Jack King is retaking the lead once again. Simon Santa still is going to fight him through Bruxelles. but Xenius with the inside line gets a much better run out and is now going to be released to the back of Jack King for the rest of this lap as they head through Pouon. All of these three front runners are very even on pace, and Jack King looks to have spun. He has during Pouon he touched that inside curve, and that curve is horrible, and he seems to have lost an end plate. That is damage. That is a shocker for him. Jorasinius, however, leads. He's now got a 9.5 gap, building up to a second. He'll be draining his ERS to try and get away. There's a yellow flag, as it looks like Sebastian Zerveld has had a spin in the background. Jorasinius now has a 1 second gap on the medium tyre. Even on the slower tyre, he is managing to pull away. He seems to have better pace. When he gets to that soft, I wonder what he'll do then. Further back, Patrick Kiziel is into 4th, sticking there for a few laps, is behind Badgener in the Williams, who's made his way up to 3rd. Following these two, Jack King is into the pits with his end plate damage. That's his race going to be very damaged, but we'll see if he can put on the mediums. They should last to the end of the race. We've got a pack with Sam Palmer leading, with the Williams of Lopez very close behind. So I wonder if Upper Rouge, if they can get their ERS deployment just right. Sam Palmer runs way too wide in Eau Rouge, and that's going to leave him very vulnerable to Lopez, who has the DRS and is going to get past Sam Palmer on the straight for the braking zone. Sam Palmer going to fight it back, not quite, but he does manage to stick into the end. Will Lightning just behind them will be looking to pick up some of the scraps from this fight, with the two of them slowing each other down. Further up ahead, Xenius has stretched his advantage even further with a now 1.5 second gap over Sam still, so those mediums now will be coming into their element. They'll have a better pace compared to the soft runner tyres. We'll have very warm tyres now. We have a yellow flag in sector 1. That's Jack King. His race is going from bad to worse. He's had a spin at Les Combes. Meanwhile, the grid is thinning out. The drivers now mostly with 1 second gaps between each other. That's Hannestad. It looks like has spun round at the corner next to the house. I am terrible with corner names. Following up ahead, Xenius now stretching his advantage even further. Will Lightning all over the back of Sam Palmer. He's going to decide to move into the bus chicane under braking. He looks just a bit too far ahead, decides to wait and maybe pass him with the DRS. But what has happened to Sam Palmer just then? Was that a late move into the pit lane, or was that a spin? But that is very odd. He's been hit by Hannestad behind. That is an odd accident to have. And Will Lightning's got ahead of the Aston Martin cop, although I think he might have just started to move. The two of them fighting with each other. Simon Sanderstill is going to look to box in the next few laps. It's beginning to rain actually, the first few drops are appearing. So Xenius with a 2.5 second gap, and those who have just pitted, that's not going to do them any favours. It might be Inter's weather very soon depending on how bad the rain comes down. So if we get predictions in chat again, now that everything's shaken up, who is the favourite for the win right now? Xenius has brilliant pace and now is stretching his advantage. I imagine he'll be at a 3 second gap very soon. Those softs will be completely worn. Xenius is going to have an advantage here. He'll be able to pull away and no one will want to box with the rain coming down. They'll wait for Inter's weather if it does come.
And it appears to be start raining a little bit.
It has done.
As the clouds turn grey.
Xenius, this is all looking up for him. Kister would like a look at the tyres. So the softs will be falling off now, and I imagine they don't want to pit at the moment, because if they can last it out, if the rain comes heavy enough and it comes to interweather, then they won't want to box. But Xenius, he's going to benefit from this. He won't have to box. His tyres will be looking alright for now, as I believe that is Melicheric, not Smith. Simon Sanderstill takes that curb way too heavily, almost goes for a spin. Badgerner's all over the back of him. He's really dropping off now. There's a 4 second gap to Xenius, who's commanding and dominating this race. Sanderstill runs wide. He's really struggling as the rain is falling heavier now. You can visibly see it. If we ride on board with Vadrunner here, we will be able to get a view through Eau Rouge, the conditions. I imagine DRS is still open for now, but it will likely be disabled, and that is a big indicator that it's turned into weather.
And I agree with that. And it appears, I think,
Where?
from my experience, is that switching to inter tires at the end of this lap is probably the best call.
Probably the best. Position change. Vajra has come from almost the back of the grid. It's up 14 positions. He is doing brilliantly at the moment. He's past Sana still. He's already building a gap to him as well. Zervo picking up a 3-second time penalty. But Xenius just able to stretch his lead with tyres that are a lot fresher. So this is all looking up for him on that alternate strategy. He managed to make it work, and he had the strongest race pace, it looks like. But intermediate weather, wet weather, that's going to shake the entire grid up. Patrick Kizio actually getting past Sanister. Sanister is fading. Does he have damage? He could do. Unfortunately, we won't be able to see that. It doesn't look like he does. The end plate's fine and intact. But Vajrana does have pace. Xenius isn't stretching his advantage as much anymore. It isn't ready for inters just yet, but as you know, going early can pay off. Hamadir, you're I don't think you want to talk about inters. You managed to forget to put them on. It cost you a few positions on Friday, which was unfortunate. But it isn't quite ready just yet. I imagine we will likely see DRS disabled in the next lap or so. The rain is falling a lot heavier now. So if we have another quick run down the Cop disqualified for blocking pit lane, was that? It was. So
So now, both Aston Martins are gone.
what has happened there? I don't know how he's been disqualified, but he has. Maybe that pit entry. He's decided to go for the inters, but that's not going to make a difference considering he's been disqualified. That pit entry is a killer. That's very unfortunate for him. So we will switch. Who has chosen the intermediate? Ooh, Sam Palmer and Sebastian Servo getting very comfy with each other. Xenius still leads. Still with a large gap of 4 seconds, but that's holding steady with Vajrana. Patrick Kizzy on the mediums behind will have a bit more pace, but it is treacherous out there now. There is standing water, so it is into weather. Those on inters are going to benefit greatly here. They'll have better pace and be able to close up to those front slick runners. So they'll want to box now. They do not want to leave it any later than it is. So Lopez leads the inter runners. He's got Will Lightning behind, 5 seconds behind him. Followed by Alex Day, who's recovered to 9th from being down P16 for most of the race. Jonathan Hannestad is in 10th. Jack King still on the sauce. That's not going to do his race any good. It's gone from very good to bad to worse. However, DRS hasn't been disabled, so is that an indication the softs are still slightly faster at this point? Jonathan Hannestad gets a big snap of oversteer just then. Simon Sanderson, a 10-second penalty, and they're spinning. The soft runners are spinning. They can't do anything. They're going to want to get into the pits. They cannot stick it out on these tyres anymore. So Xenius, Vajrana, Kiziel, Sandersteel, Melecherik, they're all into the pit lane, all choosing the intermediate tyres. So whatever happened there, that's not going to hurt anyone's races. We can have a look at the penalties. Patrick Kiziel has 6 seconds.
The DRS has been disabled.
DRS disabled, that is an indicator. It is now into weather. You can see it is treacherous out there. No one wants to be on the slick tyres anymore. It was spinning at the bus stop. Patrick Kiziel with 6 seconds. Simon Sandersteel spun at the bus stop and managed to pick up a 10-second penalty. He's just lost the position to Lopez. Simon Sandersteel is fading in this race, letting Metacherik through as well. Will Lightning is going to be on the back of him soon. Alex Day further back. They are all on the inters apart from Jack King, who's just making his way into the pit lane, which is unfortunate for him. Losing a position as well to Hannestad. Xenius, however, now has an 11-second lead over the drivers behind him, so he is commanding this race at the moment. Simon Sanders has Melecherik very close behind him as he goes very deep, understeering through Bruchel. heading up to No Name. His pace has disappeared in this race from pole, missing the apex there. He's really coming under threat. Elsewhere, the grid has spread out quite a bit. Vajuna has Kiziel behind him, hovering just around a second. However, without DRS, they're going to rely purely on pace. Xenius is happily dominating and commanding this race. 12-second gap, that pit stop, whatever he did in there, he managed to get in perfectly. The drivers behind him on those softs really fading. So the alternate strategy has worked perfectly for them in these changeable conditions. And he is stretching his gap all the time, tenths upon tenths. Patrick Kiziel closing up as Vajuna goes very, very deep into the bus stop. He's going to be very vulnerable on this next straight, gets another snap coming back onto the track. We're right on board with Kiziel. Vajuna runs wide, he's not got enough pace on those inter tyres and he's just lost the place to Kiziel. Kiziel is up to second now in the Haas. Vajuna in third, that was not the exit he needed out of turn 1. Now further down the grid we have the two Williams running in third and fourth, which is going to be a good haul of points for them. Simon Sanderstill is running in 5th now. He'll hope to find some pace, maybe get those tyres into a good operating window. However, the grid is thinning out now. The rain really plays a difference. If you've done a bit of practice in the rain here, you'll benefit greatly. Xenius still stretching his advantage. He's going 2 seconds in the past lap. So he's up to a 14-second lead. Vajuna is falling off the back of Kiziel, doesn't have as much media, doesn't have as much into wet weather pace. He's now at a 2.5. Sam Palmer picking up a 3-second time penalty. If we take a quick look at the penalties, Patrick Kiziel has 6 seconds, however, so that's not going to do his race any good if Vajuna can stay within that penalty frame. Lopez has 6 seconds as well. Simon Sanderson on 10, Melicharik on 3, Alex Day on 3. Alex Day is very close compared to the rest of the grid to the back of Will Lightning. He's gaining time as Lightning looks to be somewhat struggling. Alex Day has more pace in him. Is he going to size up a move around coming into the bus stop chicane, or is he going to get there before? You do not want to go side by side with these corners, it's very, very tight. But it looks like he might try and move into the bus stop chicane. Late on the brakes, he's got a front wing in there, he's side by side. Will Lightning gives him the space he deserves, and Alex Day gets the move done, but he goes slightly wide. Will Lightning still close behind him. Is that Simon Sanderstill just ahead of them now? It is. Alex Day is closing up to the back of him. Simon Sanderstill is really dropping off the pace here. He'll hope to try and maintain his points position. But behind Alex Day, now 8 tenths off the back of Sanderstill, has pace. Sanderstill going very slowly through our rouge. Will Lightning dropping off the back of Alex Day. Alex Day seems the fastest out here. On match, on pace with Xenius, however he's a bit too far away from him. Alex Day, unlikely to size up a move here. He doesn't, but he's a lot more confident on the brakes. He's being held up by the Ferrari here. It's not going to do him any good. He wants to get past. He won't try and move into Bruchel. That will damage his race, the likelihood of contact. Oh, he does try and move there, and Simon Sanderstill is tagged around the back, and that's going to send him into a spin. Will Lightning's going to get past. Sanderstill is retiring from the session. That's unfortunate for him. It was all looking up. But we've got a safety car now as Sanderstill retires. So the grid will come back together, and that's going to put Xenius under threat as everyone's going to close up. Alex Day, what's happened there? He's run wide. Will Lightning, that seems to be okay now. That seems to just be a bit of driver error. Xenius, Patrick Kiziel maybe dropping off slightly now as a 20-second gap. But under safety car, that's all going to change. So Xenius is going to have to defend. If we take a quick look at the tyre life, Xenius is on slightly more worn tyres compared to Kiziel. Oh no, he isn't. They boxed at the same time, they're just that spread out. So there isn't a tyre advantage at the moment, depending on how well they have looked after them. Standstill, it's unfortunate, but there's the rest of the season to wait and to have another shot. You're right up there in the championship, so you don't want to lose that and sacrifice that position. So Xenius now running behind the safety car. The whole grid is going to bunch up. Is anyone going to try a pit stop? Maybe put on some new inters, see if they have new pace. As far as we're aware, there isn't going to be a change in the weather again. We haven't heard anything about it, and the rain still looks to be coming down. Jack King, same as Austria, picks up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. That's his race well and truly gone from bad to worse, and it's in the gutter at this point. That's not going to be him in a happy mood. But as the drivers begin to line up behind the safety car, we have Xenius, Kizil, Vadrina, Lopez closing up now. A very spread out grid, so I don't know how quickly we'll see the safety car go in. We don't have a massive amount of... We have a very spread out grid here, so the safety car may take a while to go in, but considering we only have a couple of laps left, 6 or so laps, it's gonna be tight. And as to when the game decides to let the safety car go in, we do not know. Jack King in the pits, he has put on a fresh set of inters, but it's going to get worse for him as he is going to have to box and serve a drive-through. They're almost half a lap down. So a quick rundown. Xenius was comfortably leading in first. The safety car isn't going to put him in the best of moods. He was looking set out front. Vadrina is ahead of Patrick Kizil in P2. Kizil just pops himself up into second. I don't know if there might have been an illegal overtake there, but Kizil is in second now. Vadrina in third. The other Williams, Williams 3-4 at the moment, of Lopez, is running in fourth, followed by, I believe this is Melicheric, not Smith. It could be Smith. We're not massively sure. Alex Day in sixth, who looks to have really good pace. Hannestad picks up a 3-second penalty on the safety car. That is unfortunate and an odd one. Alex Day, if he can get past these front runners, did seem to have very good pace compared to the drivers in front of him, making moves everywhere. So if he can close up to the back of Xenius, if he doesn't gain too much of a gap, we could see a fight between these two in the wet weather. Will Lightning is in seventh, followed by Luke Martin in the Alpine, just closing up to the back of the safety car queue. He's followed by Jonathan Hannestad, Sebastian Zerveld, rounding out the points positions in 10th, followed by Sam Palmer, Martin Noble and Jack King. However, the Alfa Romeo of Noble and the McLaren King are very far behind the rest of the pack, and from the looks of it, are unlikely to catch up. I wouldn't be surprised if once Sebastian Zerveld and Sam Palmer close up to the pack, we could see the safety car in. The Alfa Romeo and McLaren are very far behind, so the game might not wait for them to get the way round. Only a couple laps left of this Grand Prix. Xenius is going to be looking to get a good start on these inters and stretch his lead again. Yeah, very, very good pace on this first stint, and a good pace on the inter. So we're hoping to carry that through once the safety car is in. So currently Will Lightning and Alex Day and Lopez have the most worn tyres. Zerbo in 10th has even older tyres, but all of the tyres still relatively new. The safety car doesn't look like it's going to be in this lap. There could be a late decision, but it's usually sent the message from race control around now, so maybe another lap. Tyre wear isn't going to play too much of a factor here, but inters can last a long time in the wet. It's looking like it's going to be another lap on the safety car. That's not the most interesting for us. So until we get safety car in, I will leave you with the sound of this Red Bull and the Mercedes AMG safety car. And we will have safety car in this lap as the rest of the pack has closed up to this safety car queue. So this will be our last lap on the safety car before we can get racing again. So the drivers will be on the radio with their engineers and looking at the track map and warming up their tyres in preparation to get racing again. Especially getting warped into these inters can be difficult under safety car conditions. So they'll be looking for a good restart to gain positions and not to lose them. In the words of wise Will Buxton. Oh, Xenius goes way too happy on the throttle, and that is a really bad, unfortunate mistake from him. That's dropped him down to 5th, and he's done a naughty reset to track. That's going to be a 3-place grid penalty from him. That is not what he wanted to do. Safety car is in this lap. That's going to be him in a very bad mood. What on earth has happened there? Too happy with the loud pedal. So now Patrick Kiziel leads. Torgier Smith has got a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. I'm not sure what that's about. Patrick Kiziel now leads. Jorasinius, that's actually going to ruin his race unless he can make it back. But the reset to track that we did catch on camera is going to be a penalty for the next race. That's unfortunate. But Patrick Kiziel's going to lead. He's going to be warming up his tyres. He's going to be under threat from the 2 Williams now leading a 2-3. The best of any constructors team right now. Both Alpines are in the points. The Alfa Romeo Will Lightning in the points. But 2-3 for Williams as it stands. So we'll ride on board with Vagina for this restart as the safety car goes in. Patrick Kiziel gets a terrible restart. What on earth has happened there? He almost gets a snap and spins, but unfortunately for Vagina, you aren't allowed to take before the start-finish line. As the track goes green, Patrick Kiziel managed to hold on to the lead. Vagina seems to run wide. That's allowed Lopez to get ahead of him. Vagina now in 3rd, under threat from Alex Day, who's really close behind, having looked up the inside of Vagina going into Eau Rouge. Decides not to, probably for the best. He's got Xenius on the back of him. These two are pretty close on pace as we saw the two of them charging their way through the field. So Patrick Kiziel now with a comfortable 7.5-10 lead over Lopez. Lopez has his teammate of Vagina in close proximity behind, followed by Alex Day, Jorasinius, who's in 5th after that unfortunate spin. Will Lightning is up into 6th. Melicheric, I believe, just behind him in 7th, followed by Sebastian Zerbo. Sam Palmer and Luke Martin are up into 9th and 10th. I believe Sam Palmer lost position to Zerbo on that restart. However, that has been a golden restart for Kiziel, who's made his way into 1st and now has an 8-10th gap over Vagina behind. He's just going to want to keep it on track and keep stretching that advantage with only 3.5 laps remaining. Sam Palmer picking up a 3-second time penalty. Following this, Alex Day is all over the back of Vagina as we ride on board with him, trying every which way he can to size up a move. He's got Xenius 3/10 behind him as well. Xenius will be wanting to maintain that and try and have a battle, the two of them. Alex Day is sizing up a move on Vagina, goes through for we get to the penultimate chicane. But Alex Day running wide there has picked up a 3-second time penalty for track limits. That isn't going to do his race any good. That's not going to make him too happy. Vachon actually has another go at him into the bus stop under late braking. Sebastian Zerber gets a 5-second penalty for corner cutting. Xenius goes through, and that's a spinner in the background. That is Sebastian Zerber. That's not going to do his race much good. That is promoting the Alpines of Sam Palmer and Luke Martin into 8th and 9th. However, Luke Martin picks up a 3-second penalty just as that occurs. Xenius has now passed Vachon as an up into 4th. He's going to be all over the back of Alex Day. The weather does look to somewhat began to subside, but it is still wet and intense weather. Alex Day looked to have had a shot through a rouge, cutting the corner. That is going to leave him slightly vulnerable, but Xenius didn't look close enough. At the front, Patrick Kiziel has had a dream restart a couple laps after. He has now got a 1.5 second lead, just dropping down slightly. 1 second. Did he have a little mistake? He might have, as that has allowed Dini Lopez to close back up to the 1 second window. Not that that's going to matter in this wet condition. Alex Day running in 3rd, with Xenius somewhat dropping off the back. Now a 7th, 10th gap. Vachon has dropped off the back of them further still. He's now got a 2nd gap. Will Lightning in 6th has dropped off. He's got Sam Palmer very close behind him. Sam Palmer also being followed by the AlphaTauri of Smith, and Smith is in an Alpine sandwich with Luke Martin. We now have both Williams, both Alfa Romeos, and both Alpines in the points. Jack King picks up a 3-second penalty. His race not going his way today. It was looking all up. But as we ride up ahead, Alex Day is now really on the back of Lopez. He has very good pace, perhaps better than Xenius did. He looked the size of a move. He went under the grass. He makes a small adjustment, changing his line into the braking zone. Tries going around the inside. He's got the outside line, and he gets better traction off the exit. And he gets ahead of Lopez. That's Alex Day up into P2. As he be hunting down Patrick Kiziel next. Xenius all over the back of Lopez as well. Xenius is looking to recover his race. However, after that spin, he'll be driving out of pure anger, so he's going to want to keep a cool head and make that move as and when he can without picking up too many penalties. As Lopez now picks up a penalty, if we look at the penalties to see how this will affect the grid order. At the moment, Xenius would take the win, as everyone ahead of him has penalties. Vagina would also be in a good position, as Xenius gets ahead of Lopez. Will Lightning does not want to drop off this pack too much, considering the 9 seconds of penalty Alex Day and Lopez has. That would boost him into a much better position. Patrick Kiziel and Alex Day both with 6 seconds. So at the moment, if the grid were to finish like this, with only a lap and a half remaining, Xenius is going to win despite that spin. Vagina is going to be stuck into P2 if we switch to the leader gaps. Will Lightning wouldn't take the win, as he's out of the 6 second winners Kiziel and Alex Day, but would move up a position from Lopez's 9 seconds of penalties. Alex Day and Kiziel do not want to get any more penalties. Alex Day looks to have run a bit wide there as we approach the last straight and about to begin the last lap. Alex Day is going to want to size up a move, but Kiziel seems to have a better run through that 2nd sector, so he's losing a bit of time, Alex Day is, but he's deploying his ERS. He has a fair amount to play with as he deploys some. He's got, actually, Patrick Kiziel using almost none of his ERS, is in a much better position to deploy all of it on this last lap and escape Alex Day and try and maintain his P1. But with the 6 second penalties, that's not going to help his race at all at the moment. Alex Day, with a much better run out of the bus stop chicane, is actually side by side with Patrick Kiziel. The two of them side by side into turn 1. Kiziel has the inside line, gets slightly better traction, but Alex Day is actually going to make the move. Alex Day gets another 3 second penalty. That's not going to help him. That's another 3 seconds. And that's going to give him 9 seconds of penalties. Xenius is now all over the back of Kiziel. Is probably going to have a look through Radion as he does get a better run through Eau Rouge. However, Kiziel with a lot more ERS to play with compared to Xenius. Xenius has about 50 to 30 odd percent less ERS to play with. Alex Day leading with a 2nd gap, but he does run wide there. He's going to let Patrick Kiziel close up. Patrick Kiziel needs to stay within this 3 second gap with a penalty deficit. whether these penalties get removed, we are unaware right now. Kizil Xenius is remaining behind Patrick Kizil. He doesn't need to fight them here, he just needs to stick in this penalty window. As it stands, he will win the race. Yep, Lego, yeah, hammered it. It does look like Xenius is going to win. These penalties are gonna play really into the hands of Xenius. It's a strict track for penalties, but Alex Day looks like just as it was in Austria. He's made a brilliant recovery from near the back of the grid after being disqualified in qualifying for trying to stay out of people's way and going backwards along the track. But he is going to win on track again, but these penalties are going to do him no good. He's got to watch out for these every race now. Alex Day stretching his lead on the last lap over Patrick Kizio to 1.2 seconds. He's going to round the bus stop chicane as he comes through. He's driven very well from the back of the pack, made some good strategy choices. He's going to win the race on track, but with 9 seconds penalties, that's going to drop him 1 behind Patrick Kizio. Joris Xenius wins the Belgian Grand Prix here at Spa. Vadrino is up into P2 with penalties. Alex Day down into P4, Patrick Kizio ahead of him in P3. Will Lightning into 5th, ahead of Lopez. Sam Palmer into 7th. Melacharik, that might be down into 9th with a 5-second penalty for not serving something at the end of the race. And so that is a stricken McLaren. Alex Day in a P4, happy with that. Joris Xenius driving brilliantly throughout the whole race. Other than that spin under safety car, which could have ruined his race, but he made a good recovery. And so he does eventually take the race lead and wins to take home a nice 25 points for Red Bull in T2 to allow them to further stretch their lead in the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship. That was a commanding race from him. And we'll look to get him up in the Drivers' interviews to give us an insight into what that was like. For now, we will watch the podium celebrations as the Red Bull driver, the Williams driver Vagina, storming from the back of the pack. I believe he might have started around P16. So that was a great result from him. We will wait and see who we can gather in the interview rooms as we head over there and stick on our intermission for now. So if we head over to the interview box, we will look to get our race winners up. We'll give them a minute to collect themselves after the race. So we get a few drivers heading into the interview screen now. Okay, for now we'll get started. We don't have our race winner in here at the moment. So owing to the finish, we will get our on-track winner Alex Day and see if he will come and talk with us about that race.
Hello?
Hello.
Um,
How was that for you?
it's fine. I got like a double warning once, so I think I'm gonna get penalty removed. So I don't know. I'll see.
Right. Yeah. But no, it was a good race. You got disqualified in qualifying, and you drove
Yeah,
away from the back of the grid.
started last. My wet pace was amazing. So I was.
It was. You were making moves all over the place, and made a charge through the field after that final safety car.
Yeah, I did a pretty good recovery after 4 stops, which was not so ideal. I got taken out by. What was his name? Palmer, I think. Yeah, away, right? So I got taken out by him in the second lap, meaning I got damaged, and then I had a bit of an incident with his teammate on the second lap before that. That fast right corner, like flat out completely. I had a bit of an incident. I was going for a move as he was holding me up, and then I was all over the curb, and he didn't have enough space. I don't think it was my fault, but have to look into it.
Well, nevertheless,
But yeah, it was fine.
it was a good race from you. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Right, see you, mate. Now we'll get our actual race winner on track. Xenius up here. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Yep,
Mega job today.
thank you.
Dominated out front for the majority of the race. I believe you had a 14-second gap at one point on those intermediates after the rain started falling.
Yeah, I did. It was kind of good. My setup was not for the rain, but it kind of suited it because I had more wings than usual, so it wasn't that bad. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. So qualifying, you opted for the alternate strategy. You were firm sticking to the mediums.
Yeah. At first, I tried mediums. I said maybe I will get to top 10 or somewhere. Then I saw, oh, I'm P2. And then from there I didn't. I decided to just stay on mediums.
Yeah. Managed to keep it penalty free for the whole race. So that's a well deserved win. Could we get a comment on what happened under the safety car with a small spin?
Yeah, that was quite shocking. The spin was embarrassing. Yeah, I just was too greedy on the throttle.
Oh well. So it's happened to the best of us at times. That's unfortunate. But otherwise, it was a great race from you, and that's really going to help Red Bull in both championships.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Thank you.
Cheers. Hope to see you next week.
Yeah. You too. Yeah. See you.
See you. Thank you. And now I believe Vagina was our P2 finisher. Hello.
Well, hello.
Hello. Well done. That was a P2 podium finish. That was.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised myself starting from P16. I had no qualifying, I couldn't attend, but in the end, good result.
It was, yeah. You with your teammate for a lot of that race, Lopez. So a few team orders perhaps.
Well, there were no team orders, but I thought if he was going to be faster, I will let him by because it would be beneficial for the team and constructors championship.
Yeah. You managed to stick with the front pack for quite a lot of it, and you benefited from others' battles and scraps, and you managed to pick yourself up a well-deserved podium.
Well, I was quite surprised by the rain because I was not expecting it because I was quite fast on slicks.
You were, yeah.
My main strategy was going soft and hard, but I went soft and then intermediate, and it worked quite well.
It did. And from did you start P16 or the very back of the pack from missing qualifying? So it's a brilliant performance. You've taken yourself all the way up onto the podium today. So yeah, mega job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, hope to see you next week.
Yeah. Bye.
Cheers. I will get Mr. Sanders still up here, and then we will open up the floor. If he'd like to come up. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. From looking great in qualifying, you took pole. You managed to get into first in the race. You had good pace, but then you started dropping off under the wet weather. Can we get a comment on what happened there?
Before that, I got taken out when I was gonna pit. I got 10-second penalty for no reason when I got taken out by. Let me see who it was.
Was that what happened at the bus stop chicane as you were coming into the pits?
Yes,
Oh,
I got 10-second penalty for that. Broke my wing. Everything went the wrong way. Then when later at the race, someone took me out, hit me from the back, and I spun around, hit the wall, lost my tire.
Yeah,
so
we saw that.
This
we
whole
saw that
race
on
went
stream.
fucking.
That was I believe you were fighting with Alex Day. Alex Day had some great pace and sized up and moved into Bruchel, and unfortunately he tagged your rear right wheel and sent you into a spin. And I believe you were
Maybe that was a bit my fault. I don't know, but I haven't watched it, but the other thing is totally not my fault. I broke my wing, got 10-second penalty, and fucked up my whole race because of that.
Yeah, it's a shame. You were looking good for most of the race, but there's a lot of races left, so it's completely recoverable.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, cheers. I hope it goes better next week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. I will open it up to whoever wants to come up. Will wants to come up. Well done, Will. You got up there.
I
Let's get
got P5.
teammate. You got
It's a
P5.
good result for Alfa Romeo.
It is. That's 10 points.
And Noble got P8 as well.
Double points for Alfa Romeo.
I mean,
Can't
there
complain.
definitely are struggles during that.
Yeah, you guys were up and down the entire field. So
Unfortunately, I called the Inters a lap too late. I was debating. Managed to stay on the softs, literally a lap before the rain started coming down, and I made a bad judgment call to go onto the mediums. So I had to immediately switch to Inters, and then had some wing damage. So then I had to swap to a new wing and Inters. So it ended up being a 3-pit stop. But all being said, I managed to get up to P8. A few incidences on track. But yeah, I mean, not everyone's equipped to race in the rain. So, I mean,
yeah,
I think we all did as best as we could.
it was difficult. A lot of people struggling. Some people making the best of it.
Yeah.
I saw you were
I want to give a shout out to Chrome real quick as well. I'm not sure what his name is,
Jack
but
King. Jack King.
King. Yeah, honestly, fucking, he played the ballsy move and staying on the softs.
He did.
When there was a couple of us on inters, and he blitzed past us. So I mean, it paid out for him. So congrats to him as well.
Yeah. So I mean, you were hovering, Martin, just outside the top 10 for most of the race. So I assume that the last few laps after the safety car went in, you made the moves you needed to.
Yeah, so I had an incident just before it went to the Inters, which dropped me down to P14. I think I span or I got spun. I can't remember exactly, but
I believe you did.
I'll
Yeah.
investigate that further. And then from there, I know that under a safety car, someone span out in front of us, which was unfortunate, and then managed to fight for a couple more places. Trying to squeeze on the insides on some of the places as well. But very, very difficult in the wet. I'll be honest. It's definitely a challenge.
Spa's a killer. It's not the nicest track. How was your race, Will?
My race, it was all right. I think quite early on, I think at the start I lost a position or two, and then a few laps later I managed to make it back. And then I had a little incident with Vajrana, turn 4, who, much similar to my incident with Green last season.
Oh, we've all been there.
Turn 4. He just kind of came across me, and I span out. Which, I was a little frustrated at, but I mean, I'm never very confident at Belgium, and I've said that for 2 seasons now, and every time I've done half decent. So maybe I should stop being so harsh on Belgium.
Being harsh on yourself. You're an excellent driver.
Oh, thank you. But no, great teammate as well. He let me pass at one point. And still pitting, 3 pit stop for him, and still finished well on the points. So
yeah.
No, it was a good race for Alpha.
It was.
Good race for Alpha, definitely.
Double points finish. Will, you got 10 points in P5, and Martin,
better than nothing.
Martin's picked up 2 points. So yeah, I mean I imagine that'll boost your team in the constructors a fair bit. So yeah, congratulations to the both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and beautiful commentating as always, Charlie.
Thank you, Will. Does anyone else want to hop up? Amethyst does. We will get him up here. Hello.
Oh.
Hi.
Hey.
How was your race?
It could have been better, but it was okay. I gained a little bit of positions in the start, and then in the safety car came. First safety car did not pit, and I should have pit because I lost many position at the start. And then it began to rain, and then I made a mistake to switch on mediums, and then a lap after, I have to go into intermediates.
Oh, that was a shame. I think we saw you at the tail end of a few spins throughout the race. So
Yeah.
that was unfortunate. Did you end up in the point positions at the end, or
No,
just
I
outside?
had a long fight with the Noble, 2 top 10, and I did not came in, so
That's unfortunate. But there's always next week and the rest of the season
yeah.
to claw those back. So is that Mercedes and Alpha fight the beginnings of? We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, well done on the race today.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week. I hope. Okay, unless there's anyone else who wants to pop up, we'll call it there. Anyone else? Stick your hand up if you'd like to. That's a solid no for now. So we'll call the stream here. Thank you for watching as always. Make sure you tune in again on Friday for the Tier 1 race. I believe it will be Britain the next race, and it will be a sprint race. So we'll have a 5-lap race after a short qualifying and then a 50% race. So the grid's all shaken up and it will have a lot of action. That'll be at 7 p.m. BST on Friday evening. Until then, cheers.